Welcome to RE Uncut. Our daily shows are powered by Core Logic and supported by Printforce, Rockend and Realty.com.au.
Hello, welcome to today's show. I'm Michael Sheargold and our special guest today is none other than John Cunningham. Back shortly.
In today's market, great ideas alone simply aren't enough, but innovative execution can hand you a real competitive advantage. Nightlight is a cutting-edge illuminated signboard by Printforce that offers round-the-clock visibility and features that maximise advertising space, improving your exposure. Buyers can now see the full picture, day or night, with Nightlight's edge-to-edge illuminated surface, which utilises environmentally friendly, scratch-resistant technology. Nightlight is as versatile as you need to be in today's market.
So, John, welcome to today's show. It's awesome to have you as our guest this particular week on RE Uncut.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Kevin. Hope I can help out in some way.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, John, you've been leading the Cunninghams business since literally you and Anne started the business. That's 25 years now, isn't it?
29.
29. Wow, how time flies when you're having fun. And clearly you would have seen a lot of changes and evolution in that particular time frame in the way you do business and client and consumer demand and so on. What might be really neat to start with is how you defined your role now, and maybe just for those that don't know much about the Cunninghams business, just a little bit of background about the Cunninghams business as well.
Yeah, sure. Established in 91. We've now got a team of 65, 3 office locations that operate as one team. I'm pretty much the role of managing director. I've moved away from the sales environment, from being that sort of captain, coach, leading try-scorer type of role where I was touching everything to touching less and less, but having greater impact over time. So I started that journey, that exit journey, probably in around 2007. And that took, I suppose, if you took the view from 2005 to 2010, it was a transition period. And from 2010, I've really just been in a leadership mentor role, and also, of course, leading and running the business in that time frame.
Yeah, excellent. Very good. So clearly your role is different now than it was way back then. So I love the way you say leading try scorer and so on. A great way of looking at it. And it sounds like you might even barrack for Manly.
Yeah, gave up on that years ago. No, I shouldn't say that. Yeah.
So John, your role today, is that well defined within the business now?
I believe it is. I think there's what I call my lanes. That I've got to focus in, and I getting told to stay in my lane, and that lane can change a bit at times. And right now, it's really focused on 3 areas that I work on, which is the strategy of the business, the various strategy areas, because the business has 5 key areas where it's always looking at in terms of our planning, which is the sales environment, property management, tech and innovation, brand and culture, and brand and creative, and business growth. So the culture sort of covers all those areas. But my focus is really in that strategy, creative and culture area. That's where I'm at my best, and that's where my projects and my priorities sit.
Yeah, fantastic. So the way you add the value most of the business now, and the classic working on the business versus working in the business, and making sure that you're shifting things in the right direction. What's an example of strategy that just the listeners might be able to tune in and grab hold of and apply in their business? Yeah,
so when I look at the strategy things that I'm involved in, I look at one of the big ones right now is defining the customer journey and our role in it, or redefining. As you know, we've done it a few times. So we've now, every 10 years, we go in and really pull that apart. And that now is focused on what I call the 3 layers of the customer journey, which is the process area, all the things that automation and systems follow. Then you've got what I call the professional area, which is the support people within the organisation, as well as all the support people and firms outside of it, including our portals, right all the way through to our floor planners, our creative people internal. That's what I call a professional layer. And then you've got the personal layer. So it's not personnel, it's personal. And that is where the agent interface sits. So for us, when we did this 10 years ago and 20 years ago and 30 years ago, it's changed quite dramatically in that you now see the crisscross in that process, and where automation has made massive differences to that process. It's keeping people more honest, actually, rather than hiding with the technology, which has, I think, happened a lot in the past. So that element of the customer journey is a really important part of my projects in the next 12 months, as is what I call taking the authority position. So that's a commentary position, utilising the technology and video technology and blogs and social to actually stamp our authority in our marketplace in a really positive way. And then also the other one that I'm working on right now is the Cunningham's College, which is our training education program across the board. So that's where we blend not only what we do internally, but what's available externally and through the REI network and REIs and things like that. So we're blending that into an actual series of course contents for various people on their journey.
Yeah, fantastic. So 3 great projects that you're working on. What I love about these projects, John, they're real building blocks for the future. And I think one of the keys, and we'll come back and look at this more tomorrow, is one of the keys that team members are looking for leaders who have got a direction, who have got a plan, and so on. How often or frequently do you communicate what you're doing behind the scenes? Because some of this the team won't see for a little while. I mean, they might be aware of it, but how do you make them aware of that?
Yeah, look, I think there's a number of areas in that space. We've got an ideas and innovation group, which is made up of about 8-9 people within the company who was interested in actually being part of a lot of these things. We've got other areas in terms of leadership group, which is quite a large group, not only from a leadership in partnership with 10 people, but also in terms of management, the management layer of the business. So all up, there's about 15 people out of 65 who are involved in that, which then enables us to actually get the information out to the team fairly rapidly on an ongoing basis. So, but we do that also quarterly. So there's quarterly updates for the whole team. And at the moment, we're doing the monthly Zoom updates as well. So there's a lot of interaction in terms of the progression of projects and particularly quick wins that we can get things happening fairly quickly and communicate it. Because again, unless the team's engaged and has ownership in it, you are just not going to get those things to fly. So everything's just a constant work in progress. We don't stop. We don't go, oh, job's done, let's rest. It's sort of like, how can we do it better? How can we do it better? And moving from that current view pre-COVID to the changed view and into, okay, what's the better view? And then into that, I think right now we're looking what that future view is, and that's pretty exciting.
One of the things, and John, I know we've had this conversation off camera, and that is that I think one of the great qualities of great leaders is to have a healthy discontent for the present, not an unhealthy discontent, because that's when the grumpy bum sort of turns up, and no one wants that. But I think you do such a great job of that healthy discontent of saying, hey, we're here today and we're going somewhere. And those projects around what you're doing around strategy, clearly the team is seeing you're seeing the business beyond the current set of circumstances that exist in the Australian New Zealand marketplace. You're seeing a better business, a more effective business, delivering even more value to clients, which is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, that's what drives it. I mean, to me, it's all about what's your currency, where's your value sit, what's the value proposition of the sales area, what's the value proposition of our property management, what's the value proposition of our marketing and creative. What does the consumer see? That's what I'm really interested in. And again, the better view is always just the consumer view. So the whole customer journey exercise feeds into the college, as you can imagine, which feeds into the authority position, which then feeds into our brand and marketing, feeds into our community interface. And that has a flow-on effect, but it all starts at the consumer interface. It starts there. It's like, okay, what's the experience they're having? How are they feeling about this whole thing, and what's that journey look like for them? Because the journey never ends. If you do it really well, the journey never ends. It's not like, oh, what was the last impression I had? There's always the next impression, the next impression, the next impression, because you continue that relationship. Great,
John. Well, for an agency who's got a tagline of find, love, live, I totally get it on today's particular session. Hey, tomorrow, let's jump in and have a look at how you and the team have dealt with COVID-19 and some of the responses you put in place around that. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Sounds great. Thanks, Michael.
The Daily RE Uncut Show is powered by CoreLogic and supported by Printforce, Rockend and Realty.com.au. Realty.com.au is where you will see all our shows. real estate talk, the property show, auction update, and of course, RE Uncut. We are the home of property.